What's up, Rewind Junkies? Sideburnzombie here, and it is the BAMF podcast. That's right, you are now watching the BAMF podcast. So this week is no different than any other week. We are going to break down a badass movie, because that's what we do here. The movies are trash, but the vibes are definitely badass. So this week we are going to take a look at one of Troma's best. We are going to be talking about Sergeant Kabukiman N.Y.P.D.
Let's get out of here. Will you guys relax? We'll be having fun here.
Stick around, sit back, relax. Thank you so much for being here. Let's talk Sergeant Kabukiman on the BAMF podcast. Welcome back, Rewind Junkies. So this is the first video podcast, so it's a little different. It's something that I'm just trying out. If you're not watching the video, you're not really missing much. You're just missing me talking to the camera instead of just hearing my voice over the airwaves. But I figured I'd just change it up and just, after 18 episodes, just see how doing a video podcast would work. So this week, in the cult pick of the week, we are talking Sergeant Kabukiman N.Y.P.D. from 1990 from Troma. So we all know Troma here. Troma is one of the best low-budget studios, independently run studios that have been making movies and still are making movies 50 years later. So what is Sergeant Kabukiman? Sergeant Kabukiman is a superhero movie, sort of. It's a horror movie, sort of. It's a buddy cop movie, sort of. It's a comedy, sort of. There's a lot of things that were part of this movie. It's like you took like Lethal Weapon and you took like a bunch of Japanese culture and you took Troma movies and you took some sort of subtle comedy and not so subtle comedy, and then a bunch of action, and you put it into the blender, you hit the thing, and you poured it out and went, okay, it's not great, but it's pretty good. And that's what we love here at the BAMF podcast. We love movies that are not the best movies. You are not going into the video store and renting Titanic when you come here. You are coming here and you are going to rent movies like Toxic Avenger and Sergeant Kabukiman. So Troma was on a good run of movies at this time. We had hit movies like Toxic Avenger, Class of Nukem High, Surf Nazis Must Die, and they said, you know what? Let's make a movie that is a superhero. We've done all these other movies. We haven't had a good superhero movie since Toxic Avenger. So Sergeant Kabukiman could totally be that movie for us.
Where is Snipes?
Who are you?
I'm Kabukiman.
They got together, they took the story Madam Butterfly, and they loosely adapted that and put some other comedy and action into it. And we have Sergeant Kabukiman N.Y.P.D. And what is this? Well, we have Harry Griswold. He is Sergeant Kabukiman N.Y.P.D. And we open the movie up, and there is an old Japanese man who is dressed in Kabuki, and his granddaughter is praying with him and trying to find the new Kabuki man. And they find a new Kabuki man, but he is murdered while making love to a woman, and the woman is thrown out of a window onto a dude who's just walking by. Again, it's Troma. So what happens? Well, during the play, the grandfather is murdered, and Harry becomes Kabuki man by getting his essence put into him. So it then goes on, and Harry is accidentally changing into Kabuki man. He changes into Kabuki man when he doesn't want to, when he's talking to the chief of police who likes Harry but is also like tired of his shit kind of deal. So he turns into Kabuki man there, like halfway turns into him, like he gets half the kimono like underneath him and like on his legs, and the rest of him is like his suit. And then there is an incident in the park where a woman, his partner, another policewoman, and she's attacked in the park by these goons, and they rough her up, and he comes in to rescue her and save the day, and he turns into full Kabuki man. And the transformation of Harry turning from Harry the cop to Harry Kabuki man is really good. It's fun. It is totally Troma, and it is like a really good superhero transformation scene. It really is a fun one. And then he turns into Kabuki man, and he starts fighting these, these goons, and he uses an array of different weaponry. He has a huge, really comically large katana blade. He has flying chopsticks. He has a big fan that he takes out, and he waves the fan back and forth, and it blows these guys all the way up to the tree. He has sushi that he like throws out, and like this woman was like yelling at him, and it like shut her up because it went into her mouth. It is The effects are very cool. The effects, the way they do them, is very Troma. His sandals, like he gets these sandals that like just come on and then they fly and like hit the bad guys in the head and knock them out. And he starts to realize, like, okay, I need to do this stuff. And he goes and he finds the granddaughter of the original Kabuki man, the grandfather. And she teaches him she teaches him the ways of the Kabuki man and what he needs to do, and how to focus and how to harness. It is funny because it's a Troma movie, but the way that this movie is written and the way that this movie is directed, this movie is almost kind of like every Marvel movie that we have had in the 2000s as a template of, this is how you do a superhero movie. A guy gets the powers, a guy learns how to use the powers, and then the guy uses those powers for good in the third act. And you think about these Marvel movies, and it's exactly the same in every one of those first Marvel movies. And Harry figures everything out. There is also this bad guy who is this sleazy businessman who is ruining New York City, and he's got everybody in his pocket, paying people off and all that kind of stuff. And Harry finds out that, he was behind all of this. And, he's even got like a minister in his back pocket that he's using for like funneling money through the youth groups. This minister is like, preaching, and all the people in the church are giving him like tons of money, their watches, their wallets, bracelets, earrings, anything that they have. Because remember, this movie is a Troma movie. It's a satire. It's a look, a brutal look into corruption, greed, which Lloyd Kaufman is great at. He sees that stuff. He sees through the bullshit and he puts it on his films. If there's corruption and there's greed, he's going to call it out. He still does it to this day, and he is, and that's his thing, and he's good for it. Like that's, there's nothing wrong with that. So Harry, you know, finds out how to use his powers, and he's able to take care of the bad guys and save the day. There's a few cool things that happens in this movie. There are first movie with Sergeant Kabukiman, who has become a secondary mascot to Troma after Toxie. Probably one of the most recognizable mascots that's out there. I saw this movie back in the 90s. It was at the video store. I was going down a list of movies in the Video Hound book, which I have right here. I still have my Fireball yo-yo from that video store too. And I have the 1997 Video Hound book. So let's take a look and see what they say about Sergeant Kabukiman. Unfortunately, there wasn't anything in the Video Hound book, but you know, that's just how that goes. Unfortunately, but hey, I do know that I was looking at the list. They do have Troma in the book. They have a list of cult movies, B budget movies, B horror movies, and I think that's where I saw Sergeant Kabukiman. I remember too, the video store had a pin, and it was like a pin of basically that, and it said Sergeant Kabukiman N.Y.P.D on it. They gave that to me. I remember that was given to me, but I think moving like 3 or 4 times in my life, that is just gone. Unfortunately, I lost that. Very sad about that. But anyway, that is Sergeant Kabukiman N.Y.P.D, and that is the cult pick of the week, and a bit of a rewind rundown, right in the same segment, which is okay. So we'll be right back, and let's see what else we can talk about. Welcome back. So we are just going to jump into the static zone very quick, because we got to ask the question that we need to ask every BAMF podcast, and that is, does this movie still hold up in 2025? And this is a weird one, because it's offensive, yes. Is it bad taste? Absolutely. It, like, is it bad? No, it's not bad. It's just very ridiculous and very proud to be weird. I think that's the thing about this movie that you have to know when you're going into it, is that this movie is not taking itself seriously. This movie is not taking itself seriously, but at the same time, Lloyd Kaufman is going out there and making a movie that is serious enough to him, in the way of he's going out there to make a good movie. The political satire is there, the like parody of Batman and other superhero movies that were like at the time coming out. Like it was kind of like starting this like new superhero kick of the 90s. That parody is kind of there, but it's totally creative. It's like guerrilla filmmaking. I'm going to tell you this. Now, I don't know if this makes you feel like, this movie still has a place in 2025, but this movie has some of the best New York, like of that late 80s, early 90s New York feel to it. I mean, you have the World Trade Center is in so many shots in this movie, and Kabuki Man's like right there. There's, you know, the bridge and the Hudson and the cityscape and the city skyline and aerial shots of the city. It definitely makes you feel like you are in New York City. The nods to Tromaville, and also a thing that happens in this movie that will continue on in many, many Troma movies is this is the first movie that used the car flip scene that they will recycle and use in almost every Troma movie after this one was made. I mean, yeah, it's kind of has a special place in the heart of, you know, a special place in the heart of cinema history, I guess. Um, but it definitely has the Troma, no rules. We don't give a shit what you think. We're going here making a movie, and this is our vision. This is our voice, and we don't care if you like it or not. We do, and that's why we're here. And it's a superhero movie that is like, hey, guess what? We're not gonna be boring. We're not gonna be like the other ones. It's not cookie cutter kind of thing. The fact that, as I said before, in the earlier segment, is that this movie built a foundation that many other superhero movies took on in the future of this. Like, you know, Act One, we set up the, you know, down on his luck person who then gets the superpowers. And then Act Two, we learn how to use those. We learn how to harness those. We learn from somebody else who's going to teach us how to use them properly. And then in the third act, we're going to use those powers for good and triumph. Um, the bad parts of this movie is, you know, that's the plot of the movie. Basically, I just gave you, like, you know, 1, 2, 3, Act One, Act Two, Act Three, and that's it. Some of the jokes in the movie, you know, they're not made for today's standards. That's definitely true. Um, it is it is offensive. Um, but I guess it's for the time. I don't know. I think even at that time, it was like people were watching that and going, "Wow, this is offensive." Um, and yeah, I know you can see when Sergeant Kabuki Man is flying, you can see the wires, and you can see when he gets flattened like a pancake, and they pull him back up. You can see like the wire is attached to the head of the dummy, and it like sits back up. Yeah. But to me, that makes that magical. That makes you know that it was like, hey, guess what? We don't really have a big budget for a lot of this. So this is you're gonna see how we do this. We're gonna leave all the magic right here on the screen for you to see. And I don't know. I feel that that's the reason that this movie like still holds up. I feel that this is the way that the movie still we could still watch this movie today if we know those things that, you know, that happened. I mean, if you love that weird if you love that weird cinema and you love that like bonkers, crazy, just I don't give a shit kind of movie, then Sergeant Kabuki Man is definitely the movie for you. And if you already are going into it, and if you don't know Troma, and you like haven't seen Toxic Avenger or any of the older movies before this one, maybe you should watch those ones first. It's not like you need to watch them because you're going to be lost in this movie, but maybe it'll just give you like a taste of other Troma movies where you're going to get that feeling of the same kind of the same kind of theme and the same kind of style is the best way for me to explain it to you. So, does it still hold up? Maybe it still holds up. I still love it personally because I watch every movie through the glasses of nostalgia. I remember watching this movie when I was 14 or 15 years old, and I thought it was the greatest movie that was ever made. So now that I'm 44 years old, do I still think that it's the best movie ever made? No, but I still will watch this movie once a year just for fun. So that's it. That's the Static Zone. Let's get out of here. Let's close this place down, and we will be right back. All right, Rewind Junkies, thank you so much for coming by. First video podcast, little rocky, little rough, but it's the first one. I guess the pilot episode is always a little rough. But I like doing it this way. It's different. It's out of the ordinary, for me anyway. But yeah, thank you guys so much for stopping by. If you could like, follow, share this podcast when and wherever you can. We are everywhere. Just type in BAMF on every social media platform and you will see me on there. You will see BAMF podcast. You will see Sideburnzombie. You can also type that in too, and you'll see me everywhere. So thank you again for stopping by. I got to put out the Dropbox. But thanks for coming by and renting Sergeant Kabukiman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a flying reptile.
No, it's a fixed-wing, supersonic sleuth bomber.
No, you're thinking of a stealth bomber.
No, it's a man in a striped bathrobe.
A man in a striped bathrobe?
No, good citizens, it's me, Sergeant Kabukiman N.Y.P.D.
Hurry! Watch out for that pigeon!
Oh, Otis, help me! Do something! Oh my God, we're gonna crash! Look out! Get out of the way!
And you can watch this. You get a free month of Troma Now by going to the Troma Now app. It's on Roku. It's on your phone. It's on many different devices that you can go to. Troma Now. You get 1 month free, and then after that, it's only like $4 or $5 a month, and you get the entire Troma catalog, including Toxic Avenger, including the new movie Shakespeare Shitstorm. There are so many movies on there too that aren't Troma that they have on there as well. Fun movies. So please go check that out right now. And I will see you guys next week for a whole new rental and a whole new show. Until then, let's rewind and be kind.